these issues just before we started. You said you were up till 4 in the morning.
So actually, a little more like 5 in the morning. But we got the XAI data center or supercomputer center training.
Okay. So segment 2 is going to be, what does the Antichrist do? Next up, to deal with the Antichrist.
What's their end game?
What is their end game? Good one. The Antichrist is said to bring about chaos, deceive the masses, and basically be the ultimate baddie. Think of that as the final boss in a cosmic video game like Zelda.
But remember, it's not all doom and gloom. There's always hope and faith to counterbalance.
All right, so we're going to go to our TikTok search engine, and we are going to write, what does the Antichrist do, right?
What does he do or she do?
Can you type that in?
Yeah.
What does he or she do?
Are we?
Women are equal as well. Spread your love on love. All right. The only baddie I know is this one next to me.
Because this is exactly how you can identify the Antichrist in the last days. God tells us in His Word that the Antichrist has a very specific agenda. This is revealed to us by God so we don't get confused about the apocalypse that is coming. The Antichrist agenda is to have one world ruler, one world government, one world currency system, and one world military, with finally
one world government,
world religion to rule them all. But the Bible tells us to not fear, because
I don't agree with the religion thing, but I agree with all of us having the same currency. Like, you know what I mean? That would be amazing because that would bring a lot of people out of poverty. I actually truly believe
Jesus has overcome. To learn more about how the world is going to end through Bible prophecies, subscribe or follow now. Don't scroll away, because this is exactly how you...
Okay, so let's do some more deep diving on what does the Antichrist do? Okay, so obviously another big thing is he's going to try to trick us into taking the mark of the beast. So let's do a deep dive into that.
How to not get tricked into getting the mark of the beast. Mark of the beast is when the Antichrist makes everyone put a mark on their hand and on their forehead, and the number is 666. If you don't get it, the Antichrist will threaten to behead you. If you do get it, God will destroy you. There's been so many theories on what it is so that we can't get tricked into getting it. I have good news. You can't accidentally get it. A requirement to receive the mark is publicly rejecting God. This is a public action. Everybody's going to know what's going on. They also can't pin you down and force it on you. You have to cooperate. When you start feeling stressed out about it, ask yourself these two things. Does this new thing from the government require me to publicly reject God? And if I don't receive it, are they threatening to execute me? If the answer is no, then it's not the mark of the beast. It's just Satan lying to you and distracting you from God's truth. The truth that God told us we can do something today to not get the mark of the beast. Follow for part 2. How to not get tricked into getting the mark of the beast.
Let's do one more deep dive into that topic.
Antichrist
We've had some short videos here, so we're going to just go. So this is the third Antichrist. What is he going to do to us?
And the man he refers to as the Antichrist is the number 666 in the book of Revelation, called the beast. Of course, he said 666 also refers to his connection to his computers. So there's a lot more to it. But he has been predicted as far back as Bible times. So he said he has a destiny to fulfill. He has to come, but after he comes, what happens after that is in the hands of mankind. Do we allow it to go through the worst case scenarios, or can we lessen it? That's the point. But the man is alive now, and he has his destiny to fulfill. We were given a lot of information about this man because he is so important. We have his horoscope. He was born on February the 4th, 1962, in Jerusalem, but he's not Jewish. And his parents were killed during the Israeli war, and when he was about 6 or 7 years old, and he was raised by his uncle. His uncle is a very evil man, and we have had many people see him, and we have, in my work, And we had one woman who was able to put together a police composite picture of the uncle and of the Antichrist. She was a psychic who had worked with police on many cases, so she knew how to do the police composite kits. But the uncle took the young boy and was raising him as his own. What the young boy doesn't know was that the uncle had his parents killed, so he could have him for his own. And he has gotten together a very powerful group of rich Arabs in the Middle East.
Okay.
And they've been taking care of this young boy and grooming him for the role he is to take. It's a very powerful group of people that control everything that happens in the Middle East. They're the puppet masters behind the scenes. Nostradamus said, by the time 7 puppets arise in the Middle East, you will realize what is happening, that they are not the real leaders of the countries, but they are the puppets being manipulated by the puppet masters behind the scenes. The young Antichrist went to college in Egypt, and we were working on this the same time he was in college, so we were shown several scenes of him in college. We knew where he was living. We had all this information. His main courses that he took were economics, philosophy, and computers. The computers were going to be very important in his future that he was planning. But after he got out of college, he lived on the different estates of these very rich people. He has no home of his own, but travels around to the different estates. And we saw him once in a big estate on the banks of the Nile, and another one in Syria, and in Oman during the Gulf War. Oman is to the bottom of Saudi Arabia. So we saw him in all of these places during the Gulf War, and he's traveled around from place to place. But Nostradamus said, you must remember that this, in the beginning, this man will appear as a savior, the man with all the answers, the man with the golden tongue. This will how he will make his conquests in the beginning. But he said, you must remember, he's not what he appears to be. He's the wolf in sheep's clothing. Because by the time people realize what is happening, then everything will all come out. We were told in 1995, if you were watching, you'd become aware of these people and what they are doing. And of course, I get lots of mail from people try to tell me who they think the Antichrist is. But a lot of the people they have told me about, I think, are members of the group. They're very rich, but I don't think they are the Antichrist because they don't fit all of the other criteria. I think we are on the way because everywhere I go all over the world, people are taking this message and they're saying they want to do this. They want to go back to their different groups and tell people you can make a difference. It can happen. And even during the Gulf War, it only lasted a month because of all the protests people had about it even before it started. So maybe we can change the future. Maybe that was why it only lasted a month. Maybe it's why it didn't go on further. And maybe we can keep it from reoccurring because he sees there's going to be a succession of wars in the Middle East. We're not finished there yet. And he saw that we would go to war in the gray area of Europe, which he called the gray area because he said you don't know if you're in Europe or if you're in Asia. And he used the terms Macedonia and Albania. He had no term for Yugoslavia. But this was the gray area. And he said by 1995 you will make the decision if you're going to go to war or not. Well, we sent our troops into Bosnia during that year. So we are going along with the scenario. But I'm hoping by just changing one little thing, we can change the worst that he saw. It's like everything. One little event can make a big difference. Because he said, if you look back on World War I and World War II, you will see all these little things that preceded it. But at the time, you were not aware of where it was leading. And at the present time, that's what's happening. The Gulf War was the beginning of the Third World War. In the future, we'll look back on that and see that was where it started and escalated from there. But we can hope that it won't do that, that maybe we'll be able to stop it, keep it in a lower key. I would like nothing better than to have all these prophecies not happen. We could go directly into the time of the great genius and the 1,000 years of peace. That's what I hope. But I'm just a reporter, and I deliver the message of the material that I've received. And the man he refers to as the Antichrist is the number 666 in the book.
Wow, okay. So segment 3, we're going to go with where will the Christ appear? Where will the Antichrist make an appearance? Any clues, Faith?
Well, it's not like they're going to just show up at our local coffee shop, but some of it could be a significant place of power of influence. It's all pretty spectacular.
So just keep your eyes peeled, just in case. So we're going to go to our search site, and we're going to ask where. What was the question? Where will
they appear?
Before we go on to that note, I just want to pull up a Bible verse that just came into my head suddenly. Bible, I think it's in Matthew. I can't remember the exact Bible verse about no one knowing when the Antichrist will come. Sorry. Okay, so right here, this is Matthew 24:36. No one knows when the end will come, not even the angels, or the heaven, or the Son of Man knows. Only the Father knows. The Son of Man will come like a thief in the night. So, where will the Antichrist appear? TikTok search. Let's deep dive into this.
Where will the Antichrist come from? The Bible provides several clues about the origins of the Antichrist. In Daniel 7 and Revelation 13, the Antichrist is described as rising from a powerful political empire, often interpreted as a revived Roman Empire. Some scholars believe he will emerge from Europe, while others suggest a broader Middle Eastern region. 2 Thessalonians 2 calls him the man of lawlessness, who will exalt himself above all gods and demand worship. His reign will bring global deception, as he opposes Christ and leads many astray before the final judgment. His true origin remains a mystery, adding to the enigma surrounding his rise. But no matter what happens, the Bible assures us that Jesus and his people will ultimately defeat the Antichrist and evil. If you believe in this victory, make sure to follow and type Amen.
Shout out. Okay, so let's do another deep dive on that subject.
Where will the Antichrist come from? The Bible provides several clues about the origins of the Antichrist. In Daniel 7 and Revelation 13, the Antichrist is described as rising from a powerful political empire, often interpreted as a revived Roman Empire. Some scholars believe he will emerge from Europe, while others suggest a broader Middle Eastern region. 2 Thessalonians 2 calls him the man of lawlessness, who will exalt himself above all gods and demand worship. His reign will bring global deception, as he opposes Christ and leads many astray before the final judgment. His true origin remains a mystery, adding to the enigma surrounding his rise.